Well, bad news. This is 71 billion Kenyan shilling bond that you missed. And by the way, at the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you what you're supposed to do so that you never miss such an opportunity again. Let's get on the business. This is good, Joseph. By the way, don't forget, I share these tips with you each and every day, making sure that you don't miss any point out there. All right, so what happened? This month of June 2025, well, of course, I'm making this video in June, you've actually missed a bond that has been oversubscribed. Have you ever heard of a term called oversubscription? Oversubscribed. What does it mean? The government of Kenya, through the Central Bank of Kenya, were looking for 50 billion Kenyan shilling, all right? The moment they were looking for this money, you know what happens? They float a bond, and we had two bonds that were reopened. The one that was going for 15 years, and we had the one that was going for 30 years. They were fetching around, talk of 12%, 13-ish% there, all right? Now, what happened? They were looking for 50 billion. Would you imagine if I tell you Kenyans gave government over 101 billion? That means they got more than double of what they were looking. Now, that bond was oversubscribed. What is to oversubscribe when it comes to bond? Okay, I'm going to use a very simple layman's language. It is when the demand surpasses the supply. You need more than what can be supplied. Government was ready to borrow from Kenyans 50 billion, but they got 101 billion. What does that tell you? Kenyans are becoming more woke in terms of, hey, instead of us having money lying idle in a bank, we would rather have that money invested somewhere where it's giving us interest. On top of that, it shows that, you know, things are developing in terms of people becoming awareness in terms of investments and what have you. Well, I know that is debatable. You may view it from a different angle, whichever way the way. Now, the point is, as much as they got 101 billion, they decided to take only 71 billion. Again, that is above what they were looking of 50 billion. Now, in that case scenario, of course, it means there was some of the cash that were rejected. And in this manner, we usually have two types of bidding. We have what we call the, how can I say this, competitiveness or bidding non-competitive. Are we together? Basically, let me say it in a simple language. Competitive bidding, this is when you actually sort of like dictate or suggest how much in terms of interest you would like to be paid, or non-competitive is simply whereby you go by the market interest rate that's going to be provided out there. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Now, the point here is around, you can do the mathematics. Some cash were rejected there, you know, in terms of bidding. Of course, they got the 71, which is slightly above the 50 they were looking for, with around talk of, actually it's around 71.6 billion or something like that. So around 21.6 billion, you know, they exceeded what they were looking for. Now, you missed this bond, but if you had bid, if you did bid and you're just waiting for the auction, who should be on, if I'm not wrong, should be on 23rd, if I'm not wrong, yeah, auction, that means now when people now will be doing their settlement, meaning now you had, you see, it has, investing in this, I know you'll be like, okay, what do I do so that I don't miss the next one? I'm gonna share with you that, okay, at the end of this video. So just stay put, I'm gonna share with you. Now, basically, what are these treasury bonds? These treasury bonds, in case you're hearing that term for the first time, it simply means lending government money. Please do not confuse lending a president money. Those are different. Please, those are two different things, okay? This is lending government money. And of course, that comes with the interest. Are we together? Now, what happens? There are two types of ways of lending government your cash. You can lend them through the treasury bills. That is usually a short paper or short period paper, meaning it doesn't not go for a long period of time. For example, the bonds that we had were going for, 30 years and 15 years, though they were reopened bond. It means that they were a bond that pre-existed. Therefore, if you got subscribed there, probably you are going at most, the one was going for around 14 years or something like that. So the next 14 years, you're going to be having your money there, then you're going to be earning interest semi-annually, meaning after every 6 months. Are we together? Now, the treasury bill one is also lending government your cash, but in a short period of time, which is usually either 3 months, it can be 6 months, or can be 1 year. All right, now we're together. Now, these treasury bonds, they are usually available every month. You can grab a treasury bond every month. Treasury bills are the ones known to be available every week. Are we together up to that particular point? So they happen. But now if you do not know how you can be able to tell when we have annexed a particular treasury bond, there is always a procedure that we can use for you to know how to go ahead as far as this investment is concerned. Then now, I'm here to answer the question of, Joseph, what do I do so that at least I don't miss the next one if you'll be interested? It does not matter whether you're within the country or outside the country. Are we together? Now, this is what you do. The first of all thing you need to do, you must have an account with the Central Bank of Kenya, of course, and then of course you need to do what we call the bidding, and of course you need to do what we call the settlement, and of course you need to be at tabs with the CBK to know when they are floating a new treasury bond or treasury bills. For example, right now as we speak, we have already treasury bills that will be there starting in few days, like 2 or actually a day or 2. We're going to have a new treasury bill that you can actually bid and invest out there. Now, generally for you not to miss this bond, first of all, you have to open an account with the Central Bank of Kenya, where you go step by step, you key in all your particulars, you open that account, and you can be able to open this account online. That's why I said you don't have to go to the Central Bank of Kenya physically to present yourself for you to be able to open this account. And for you to even to do the bidding, I can be able to take you through on that. I can take you step by step. You open that account, you'll be able to do the bidding. I'll also be able to take you through the settlement process on what you're supposed to do so that you never miss such an opportunity again. The only thing that you need to do is to simply grab that number of mine. You can text me on WhatsApp or you can give me a call. Then I'll be able to take you through on what you are supposed to do. But I promise to tell you what you're supposed to do. And I've told you, which is you must have an account with the Central Bank of Kenya so that whenever there is a new bond or a bill that is available, then you can do the bidding, then you can do the settlement. Now, the nitty-gritties of opening that particular bond, now that's a premium information. And of course, if you need it, you can always grab that number of mine and shoot me a call. I'll be able to take you through on what you're supposed to do as far as that investment is concerned. All right. Now, so what happens when it comes to these bonds? They are usually very good investment. First of all, they are regarded as low risk. Are we together? They are one of the most safest. By the way, bonds are one of the bills, and should I say money market fund, are one of the safest investment that you can ever got yourself into. Actually, bonds and bills are safer even than a money market fund, because even the money for money market fund are invested in treasury bills heavily. They usually benchmark their returns from the treasury bills. Are we together? And sometimes I get to be asked this question, hey Joseph, we sometimes rub shoulders with the government. Do you think it's the right thing to invest with the current government and what have you? I always tell people it's good to differentiate between a president and presidency. Those are two different things. And I will give you a very simple example. For example, in Kenya, we had borrowed China to build an SGR all the way from Mombasa to Naivasha. That's where the project is as of now. And of course, that money was borrowed not during the era of the current president, but the other president. See, a new president can't come in and say, like, you know what, I don't know the kind of a loan, that agreement that you had and what have you with the previous regime, therefore I may not be able to pay you. No, because these are usually, debts that are captured on the government record and what have you. Even if you today watching me this video, if let's say the current president who is there, one day maybe he's not in power, because of course power is transient, then you become the president, of course you have to pay the debt of the people who borrowed or loaned you or loaned them during that particular regime. So that is exactly how it goes by. But there are always some cases where people say, hey, you know what, the government has borrowed a lot. Maybe it can be in a point whereby it's under distress and maybe they are not in a position to maybe pay people back the money that they had borrowed. Such case happens, but they are very rare. We had a case in Ghana, where they defaulted on the same. But of course, I always tell you, by the way, I'll make a video on what happens when a government defaults in such kind of case. Then I'll be able to explain, because there are usually the sequential procedures that usually happen. When they default, either they can delay the payment or they can pay the half than what they were supposed to pay, or maybe instead of them giving you back the car, they can tell you to roll off. Like, there are different procedures that they have to. It can't just happen just like that, unless maybe a country is facing a war or something like that. But I'm gonna come here and explain, and of course I'm not a government spokesman. I'm just educating you in terms of how these things works and such kind of things. Anyway, I hope I'll be around, and I hope you'll be around. And the only way you'll be notified that when I made that video is simply by you going ahead and subscribing By the way, why do I always tell you to subscribe? So that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video, so that you can be able to learn something out of these posts that I do here. And by the way, thank you if you are a returning subscriber, keeping watching my videos. Shout out to all those guys who keep on watching, likes of the Miriam and the rest, you know, and Mercy and Triple M and oh my goodness, Derek Keremi and what have you. Guys, I'm so grateful that you always come here to watch my videos, and I'm so happy about it. So anyway, that is it, guys. And just in case we'll have a new bond or a bill, of course, I'll try the best I can to come here and inform you, so that at least you don't miss any opportunity and anything out there. And I'm gonna leave you with something on this video. If you have any question regarding investments, I have captured some of the questions that you guys are asking me. You're telling me, hey Joseph, make videos about the pension, you know, about guys who are going for retire. Make videos about pension. We would like to know something about it. Number two, there's another question that actually this is like a hot one. People asking me, hey, make videos about Mansa X, Oak Fund, you know, those special funds. Hey, how are they? Are they reliable? Should we invest? Should we avoid them? People asking me to make those videos. And well, I'm gonna try the best I can to make sure that I make those videos, so that at least you can learn something out of it. And also, the only thing I would ask you to do, how will you even know when I make that video if you have not subscribed? See, when you subscribe and turn that notification bell, you'd be notified immediately when I upload that particular video out there. And in case you have any burning question, ask me on the comment section. I dare tell you that I always go through the comments and make sure that I pick all those questions, prepare a video about that, instead of just answering that question on the comment section where it may probably gonna benefit you alone. I make a video out of it so that everyone can actually benefit out of that particular video. That's why I encourage you, go ahead and write that particular question out there so that we can learn from each other. This is Good Joseph at all the time. Don't forget. See you in the next one.